kind of take a look here.
Sorry, folks, we're dealing with a little technical difficulties here, but we should be getting things underway. We're sorry if got any problems. Just trying to get this squared away here. But do you want to maybe give me some of your thoughts here, partner, on what you think about this game? Well, like you said, both teams come off a pretty heavy loss. Like you said, Stevens Point, River Falls, 356. That's an away game, so not as appealing if it was a home game. And the Pioneers falling to Oshkosh, 7-46. Very heavy losses to both of them. But I think this game to be a redeeming quality.
Obviously hoping to win it. It is the homecoming game in front of a very, very full Gerke Park. They're going to try to kind of reconcile that loss, and the Pioneers looking to make a statement by beating Stevens Point here at home and trying to kind of take
control of their falling record. Yeah, without question, it's something they're going to need to try to capitalize if they want to get back in the winning column here. If we look a little bit ahead at not just Stevens Point's record, but look a little towards the future for both sides as we are approaching kickoff here from Gerke Field. And now Platteville is going to take the field first here, but I think this is definitely one of the more intriguing matchups of the year so far for Stevens Point. So the know their thoughts. Yeah, Pointer Faithful definitely giving it to Platteville here. But they're going to take the field. And then shortly. Yeah, they're getting ready here. About 7 minutes as we get ready here for opening. Yeah, that's in here. And now closer to for this matchup. And, now Stevens Point. Get you guys a little look at that fancy field, fancy little outfields there. But Stevens Point and Platteville should be a good one here today. This game's going to go a long ways for how a team can perform in the WIAC going down, because this is a game that both teams desperately need. If you look a little bit at their schedules coming out following this game against UW Stevens Point, the Pioneers are going to head. They're actually going to be home against River Falls, a team that really just took it to Stevens Point, one of the top teams in the WIAC. And then Stevens Point has a split next week that they welcome Scout into Gerke Field next week.
Pioneers have a couple of, like you said, they got a really tough couple of matchups the next two games. River Falls, and then right after that, the Whitewater Warhawks. It'll be, if Pioneers somehow manage to beat both those teams, I think that they're going to do just fine this season.
It's definitely a difficult stretch for Stevens Point, but it's something that if they can get a W here today, that will definitely set the tone for maybe what the future can hold. The ROTC will be presented here. The colors we're going to do our best here. Let you guys listen into that, and we'll let you listen in to the national anthem. So stick right here. We're going to be back in a minute. Just let the national anthem and the colors be played.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. And gentlemen, remove your caps as we salute those who are serving, those that served, and those that gave the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom, with the playing of the national anthem.
All right, nice presentation there by the national anthem by the pep band for UW Stevens Point. And we are getting ever closer here to the opening kickoff between the Pointers and the Pioneers.
Just about a little over 2 minutes.
Just 2 minutes, and this game really has a feel of potentially this one could be a low-scoring game, defensive affairs, because really neither of these teams have been known to be offensive juggernauts and put up lots of points. One thing to consider too for this is a lot of these point players are pretty beaten up. A few rough games where some injuries have really plagued their offense, but one thing to keep in mind is quarterback Trey Schrader for Stevens Point. He has the ability to break out of the pocket and use his legs for a run game. So I'd have to say that's one of the keys to the game is Stevens Point really needs to utilize that run game and keep Schrader on his feet because the offensive line has really struggled up to this point this season.
I think that they're going to have to step up in a really big way to keep this game within reach.
Without question, partner, as we are getting even ever closer to the opening kick here between the Pointers and Pioneers, just over a minute, as both captains are going to be heading out for the coin toss. For Stevens Point, it's number 98, Danny Neves. Number 91 for the Pointers, Malik Smith. Malik Smith actually playing with a club on his hand, playing through injury. Reese Wiggins, the linebacker, the senior out of Carpenterville, Illinois, and number 67 for Stevens Point, Nick Rederath. Those are the captains coming onto the field for Stevens Point, as they will meet the captains for the Pioneers and shake hands, and they will get ready for this opening kick between both teams here at Gerke Field. Just a reminder, again, next week, Stevens Point is taking on UW Stout here again at Gerke Field. We're going to have the game for you again here on 90 FM, as well as the athletic department's live stream brought to you by SPTV.
It is tails.
And the call was Platteville won the toss.
They've chosen to defer.
That the Platteville has won the toss. They chose to defer, so Stevens Point will be receiving the football to start the game.
Stevens Point receive.
So we're going to get a chance to see the Pointers offense here, partner. What's something you think that the Pointers really have to do to come out and set the tone?
Well, like I said, I think the O-line has to really step up and, like you said, keep Trey Schrader on his feet. I think that's going to be crucial in order for them to kind of keep themselves in the game. I think that they have to gain yardage. I don't necessarily think they have to score on the opening drive, although that would be a big plus. I think they just have to not allow too many defensive sacks or anything like that in order to kind of keep their heads into this game early.
Yeah, and I'll add something else. You got to limit mistakes here offensively. you can't have any turnovers, no interceptions, no fumbles. Really, offense has to play really solid, really complimentary if they want any chance of coming out with a victory. Bryson Cashin in the backfield, back deep, along with number 33 for Stevens Point. That's Jeffrey Williams, the wide receiver. If you remember, Bryson Cashin in the pink game against Simpson College. That's a game you heard here, our last broadcast actually. Bryson Cashin had three touchdowns, 3 Wildcat touchdowns for 175 yards rushing. Just really went off. And actually in the first game of the season, he brought one back for a touchdown on an opening kickoff. So Bryson Cashin really is that sort of Taysom Hill-like, as a little windy outside, so they're going to have somebody holding the kick. Is that something that maybe we're going to see here, that the pass game and potentially the kicking game could be a little problematic here today?
You know, the only time that I've seen somebody...
And a short kick, and that's going to be picked up by Cashin at around the 5-yard line, and he'll head up the field, and he'll get an opening, and he's at the 20 and tackled at about the 22-yard line.
The only time that I've seen somebody hold the kick on an opening kickoff is when they were attempting a field goal, as strange as it sounds.
Yeah, that sounds pretty strange here on opening kickoff. That'd be quite the long field goal there, partner, but I guess anything can happen. But now Trey Schrader and company will head onto the field as the offense will start off for Stevens Point. Schrader in the backfield along with Reed Smith. Schrader got 2 wide receivers lined up to his left. Now Schrader will take the snap, now drop back to pass, throw it out, get it over to Smith, and Williams, and he'll be tackled beautifully right away after a gain of about 3. Williams got the pickup, and that'll be a nice little 3-yard gain on first down for Stevens Point. So positive yardage here on first down, and now Stevens Point gets the offense lined up quickly again. Schrader's going to be under center now. Schrader takes the snap. He'll hand it off up the middle, making a nice little jump cut, and fighting his way up the middle is Smith.
I think he'll be just short of the first down, though.
Nice little gain there. Actually, no, they're going to say it was a minimal gain.
Really?
Pickup of 2 or 3 again. And that'll get the ball to about the 30-yard line, making it 3rd down and manageable. 3rd down and 3 here. We'll see if Stevens Point sticks to the run game, if they're going to go up top. DJ Jacob lined up at the top one-on-one, as well as Williams lined up wide. So Stevens Point wants to take a chance. Instead, they're going to hand it off to the fullback on a 3rd down and 3, and they're going to get absolutely nothing, maybe a yard at most. Interesting play call there. Hand it off to the fullback on 3rd down and 3. That's not a situation you commonly hear, and that's going to be a quick 3-and-out for Stevens Point.
Pointer faithful telling Pointers what they think of that recent play.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know how many times I've heard of running the fullback on a dive play on a 3rd down and 3 situation. That's typically a 3rd down and 1 at most. Regardless, punt is away for Unger, and not a great punt at all, really, as the ball will be located at the 35-yard line of the Pioneers, and that's where we're going to see Platteville's offense here for the first time tonight, as they're going to head onto the field. Platteville is going to be led by quarterback number 11, Braden Catcher, the 6'2 junior out of West Des Moines, Iowa. Catcher, we saw him a little bit in the pregame throwing some good balls, and now he has the offense lined up here for the Pioneers with good field position and a chance to get to strike first in this homecoming game for Stevens Point. Catcher will hand it off up the middle, and that's a nice little run for about 4 yards by Will Lawrence, the 6'2 running back out of Benton, Wisconsin. 5 yards they're going to say on the pickup. That'll make it 2nd down and 5 here for the Pioneers at their own 40-yard line. So establishing the run game early are the Pioneers. Garrett Stair, the wide receiver, lined up out wide. They got a fullback in the backfield as Catcher gets ready for the handoff. He will actually run the quarterback option. Leading the way is his running back, and now Catcher breaks it to the outside, and a nice pickup of about 9 on the play by the athletic quarterback catcher, and that'll move the sticks for a first down for the Pioneers. So a nice start for Platteville, has the ball moving. Ball will be placed at their own 48-yard line. It'll be first and 10 for Platteville. Lined up out wide is number 81, Lucas Peterson, the 6'4" junior out of Freeport, Illinois. Taking the snap is catcher. He'll throw it out wide to his running back on a nice little bubble screen and pick up a decent amount of yardage, about 3 or 4 on the play. They're going to say Will Lawrence with the reception, and that'll make it second down and 7. So Platteville moving the ball pretty well. Second down and 6. They're going to give him a generous 4 on the play. Now catcher will take the snap, do a little hard count action. Stevens Point is playing a little mix between zone and man-to-man coverage. Only have 3 on the defensive line. Catcher will take the snap. He'll hand it off. No, fake it to Lawrence. Now flip it out wide to Stair, the wide receiver. He picks up, oh, nice hit on the edge, but he'll pick up the first down on a bubble screen for the Pioneers. That'll move the sticks, making it first down and 10. So Platteville getting whatever they want here early, partner.
I agree. They are picking up first downs. Stevens Point defense not doing a whole lot of stoppage here.
Nothing doing for Stevens Point defense, but now they're going to try to, they need to get a stop here. Can't let Platteville go down the field. Catcher will take the snap. He'll hand it off up the middle. Lawrence will take it and fight his way for a pickup of about 4 on the play. And that'll make it second down and 6. A little extracurricular activities with number 50, Cameron Joseph, the offensive lineman, and number 26 for Stevens Point, that will be Reese Wiggins. As Platteville goes right back up to the line of scrimmage really quickly, as catcher now has the offense running a little bit kind of 2-minute drill. And Stevens Point player maybe jumped a little bit. Now catcher will take the read option, and he'll run down the sideline, get to about the 35 or 25-yard line, and he'll scamper out of bounds for another solid pickup for the Pioneers, as they are really moving this ball down the field very quickly and very methodically. A good drive here by Platteville to open the game. They're actually going to mark it, yep, right at the 25-yard line of Stevens Point. And now the Pioneers are inching ever closer to that red zone. Catcher, a little hard count, now takes the snap, fakes it to Lawrence. He'll now look, throws it deep, one-on-one coverage, and nothing doing. Ref takes the hat off, meaning the ball would not have been catchable. He was looking to his wide receiver at the top, Garrett Stair, nothing doing. It'll be second down and 10. 9:52 here in this first quarter, 0-0 Stevens Point. However, Pioneers are on the move and looking really strong here in their opening drive of the game.
I agree. They are picking up first downs, and the Pointers defense really has to step up and get a stop here if they want to stay in this early.
Jimmy Duscher lined up at the top for the Pioneers. He's looking for him. He's wide open, and he will find his way into the end zone. A perfectly thrown ball by the quarterback for the Pioneers. Catcher throws it to Dashlet, and what a play by the Pioneers as they march right down the field and just take it right to Stevens Point. And they have the early 6-0 lead. What a play, what a drive.
Well, it was like you were saying, Will. It's like both of us were saying. The Pointers defense really needed to get a stop here on the opening drive in order to stay in it. It's not a good look for them to be able to give up, on a touchdown on the opening drive.
That was number 18, the 6'2" sophomore out of St. Charles, Illinois, Jimmy Duscher. And a nice play there by Platteville. They go right down the field and make this a 7-0 game, adding that extra point. What a nice drive for the Pioneers, and what a rough drive defensively for Stevens Point. You got to hope that that trend doesn't continue, because if that's the case, this could be a rough game. But what are some fixes that Stevens Point can have here? Because really, offensively, that was a rough series. They got absolutely nothing and went 3-and-out, and then had to punt it, and then defense really couldn't stop that run game, whether it was the quarterback option with catcher, if it was Lawrence running the football. What does Stevens Point have to do to clog that up?
Well, like you said, they tried the run game really early, and that didn't work on all three of their downs. Having to do with a 3 and out. On the defense here, it was kind of the opposite. They didn't see any of the fakes and then pass bags. The Pioneers used that play quite a bit, and the Pioneers failed to pick up on it almost every time.
Yeah, that read option was really utilized a lot on the drive, whether it was the quarterback keeping it, handing it off, or throwing it. Really almost a triple option sort of thing. But now Stevens Point's offense is going to have another chance to be on the field, and they're going to have to try to do something to tie up this game here as the kick is away, as Williams and Cashin back deep. Cashin will take this at about the 5-yard line, and he'll head up the field with a nice burst of speed, and he'll be hit and taken down just short of the 25-yard line. And that's where Stevens Point will start with the football here on their second drive of the game. 9:41 here in the first quarter.
Not real great starting field position for them.
Yeah, so ball will be just short of the 25 at the 24-yard line. That's where Stevens Point will start this drive. Their own 24-yard line, I will say. Lined up out wide for Stevens Point, Joe Aguilera, Williams, Jacob, and number 81 for Stevens Point. That is Joe Hare. Schrader takes a snap. He'll now hand it off to Smith. Now Schrader will take it, go up the middle. Little read option there. Fooled everybody. Schrader takes it up the middle for a nice gain of four on the play. Nice little read option as Stevens Point's going to utilize it their own. And that nice little chunk, not necessarily chunk yardage, but a nice little 4-yard gain there on first down. Sets up 2nd down and 6 for Stevens Point. Smith in the backfield, Aguilera, Hare, and Jacob lined up as Schrader will take the snap and hand it off to Smith, and he'll go up the field and pick up maybe a yard, and that'll make it 3rd down and 5.
They called it 2 yards. It'll now be 3 and 4.
3rd down and 4 for Stevens Point here. If you remember their first drive, Stevens Point got the ball to start the game, went 3 and out, and then punted it. Not a good punt, as Platteville got it from their own 35-yard line, and then went right down the field and scored a touchdown. And now Point with a big time 3rd down and 4. Got to convert to try to respond here. Schrader will now wait for it. Gets the snap, drops back to pass, a little pressure in his face, and he'll try to run up the middle, and he cannot evade the defender as the ball popped out at the end there. And Platteville obviously saying that they think they have it, but was there a fumble? And they're going to say it is a fumble. Stevens Point loses the football, and Pioneers will have great field position as they're going to have the football at the 26-yard line of Stevens Point. And partner, before the game, we said Stevens Point cannot have any turnovers. Well, that's got to hurt.
Yeah, that's got to be very demoralizing, especially so early into the game. We're about halfway through the first quarter. That's something that you absolutely cannot let happen, especially if it's the first time your quarterback has been tackled this game, and then he lets up a fumble.
Now catcher right back out onto the field for the Pioneers, and they have got good field position. Look to see if they take a shot. Catcher now rolling out to his right, now looking, stops, sets his feet, now throws, had a wide open wide receiver, but a little pressure puts it too high. That was the man who got the touchdown, Jimmy Dushore, and instead that'll fall incomplete. So this is a important sequence where Stevens Point has got to force a field goal, especially in these windy conditions. There's no guarantee. But Stevens Point's defense has to step up here, as the offense was not able to find any. After 2 decent plays to start the drive, they fumbled the football on 3rd down. Catcher now looking. He'll drop back to pass, throw it, looking, nothing in his way, and he'll scramble out to his left and go up the field for a gain of about 6 yards. So, man, Stevens Point cannot contain the quarterback catcher as he has scrambled for some nice pickups here early in this one. As we approach, we are under 8 minutes here in the first quarter. Catcher picks up 6 on the play, making it 3rd down and 4, so Stevens Point has to get a stop here. Catcher Looks like Stevens Point's going to bring a little pressure, have 5 lined up on the offensive line, or excuse me, defensive line. Catcher now takes the snap. He'll drop back to pass, looking. He's going to loft one to the end zone. Same guy, and just over the outstretched arm of number 18, Jimmy Droscher, excuse me.
Wilson
and so
on the
that,
target,
or
incomplete.
Wilson, excuse me, that they'll say that was number 16, Ben Wilson, the 6'1" senior out of Bettendorf, Iowa. So that'll force a field goal. So Stevens Point's defense does its job and forces a
Help the defense
3
out.
and not necessarily 3 and out. Oh, instead of a field goal, they're going to go for it deep in Stevens Point territory. 4th down and 4. Catcher will roll out to his right. He'll throw it deep and out of bounds over the head of his wide receiver. So Stevens Point's defense holds and going for it on 4th down, as maybe those windy conditions here, partner, didn't want to allow, these windy conditions have changed. Whether or not the special teams is going to go for, or excuse me, kick the field goal, Stevens Point's going to get the football back. So no damage on the turnover. Now they got to take over and get a nice response drive going here, because you're not often going to get these gifts here like that.
No, I agree, and I think that was the Pioneers special team coaches not really wanting to take a risk with how windy it's been, and so rather than have the ball and miss and have the turnover anyways, they rather would just go for the first down since they were so close anyways.
Droscher was the receiver, the guy who caught the touchdown earlier in the Pioneers opening drive, and it was way over his head. Bryson Cashin on the run. They're going to give him 2 yards on that, making it 2nd down and 8 here with just under 7 to go here in this first quarter. So Bryson Cashin lined up in the backfield. Once again, Cashin is that Swiss Army knife type of player. He can line up as a wide receiver, running back. Schrader will fake the handoff. Instead, he'll get swallowed up as that offensive line just got pummeled there by that defensive line of Platteville. And that is going to be a solid loss of about 7 on the play, or they're going to make it a 3rd down and 17. That was a loss of 9 on the play. And now Stevens Point is in serious trouble here, as they had forced a failed 4th down conversion, and that defensive line of Platteville is really having their way early in this one.
No, I agree, and it's like you were saying, you know, the O-line really had to step up early in order to set a statement, and it just looks like they're not doing that.
The offensive line is really struggling here. Is playing a little man-to-man deep. Now Schrader looking, still has pressure in his face, now throws it, and that was a dangerous pass caught by Cashin, and Cashin striding his way and fighting up to about the 29-yard line, so that's still well short of the first down. So Stevens Point's going to have to punt the football, but once again, pressure right in the quarterback's face, and now Unger's going to have to step in for his 2nd punt of the game.
I think it was a good job, though, that they got it out of so close from the end zone. You know, it's very difficult to punt when you're in the end zone because there's only so much room you can work with. So even though they did not convert on the 3rd down, there's still a positive to be seen.
Yeah, get it out of the end zone. Give yourself a little bit more room to punt the football. Unger with it. Now he'll take it, and that one's going to be partially blocked, and that'll be picked up by the Pioneers at the Stevens Point 29-yard line. Goodness, this game, if you're a Pointers fan, really couldn't start off much worse.
I agree. Special teams, nobody looks like it's showing up to play today.
As the Pioneers have been owning the the line of scrimmage at this point today. They're just getting incredible push off the line of scrimmage on offense and defensively, or they're just having their way with this Stevens Point defense so far. Now Catcher with his his 3rd chance with the football, and a chance to maybe redeem himself after that failed 4th down conversion. Catcher now in motion is his number 1 wide receiver, Droscher. He'll get it out to him on a little of a bubble screen. Trying to strip that football for Stevens Point was number 52, Carter Borchardt. He makes the tackle, couldn't strip it out, but a nice pickup by the Pioneers and number 18, Jimmy Droscher. Droscher has really been maybe the main target for the Pioneers to start the game. Obviously, he has the touchdown, but he's been involved in a lot of aspects of the game so far. Catcher with a little bit of a hard count now. We'll take the snap. He'll hand it off up the middle to Lawrence, who will try to fight his way to the outside. Stevens Point will gang tackle him after a gain of about 4 or 5 on the play. That'll make it 3rd down and short. And you know, we saw they went for it on 4th down and 4 here, so even if they don't get it, you'd have to assume this is 4-down territory. As lining up in the backfield for the Pioneers is number 5, that is Tag Habendank. Catcher trying to get the hard count on 3rd down.
Crowd getting loud here now, showing their support for the defense.
Rusher lined up out wide along with Wilson. Wilson, another one of those targets for Catcher. He'll hand it off. Now fake it, do the read option and run up the middle. Here goes Catcher. He is going to find his way into the end zone on a quarterback draw. Actually, there was a read option play. Could have handed it off. Instead, he scampers right up the middle for another touchdown for the Pioneers, as Catcher is having himself one heck of a first quarter. It is 13-0 Pioneers. And they have just not been able to stop that read option tonight, and the quarterback is really just thrashing this Stevens Point defense. It has been lopsided to start this game.
Pioneers scoring on 2 of their 3 drives so far. Special teams, obviously, with a kind of a fumble on the punt. It was actually blocked, and that started the Pioneers in like incredibly well in their field position.
Extra point is up and good, making it 14-0 Pioneers. Now, a team that really got beat by 39 points, and you wondered where their head would be. And I think they have certainly answered a lot of the questions that maybe some of the pundits had, as they have come out here and quite handily controlled this game for against Stevens Point. As of right now, the better team is by far Platteville, but obviously plenty of game to go here for Stevens Point. It's got to start now here, because their first couple offensive possessions have been really ugly. Not much, at most gaining about 7 yards and then fumbling the football, and then blocked punts really have not been good offensive possessions for Stevens Point. Cashin and Williams back deep for Stevens Point. Let's see if we can get a good return out of this one and try to get something, give themselves better field position, give the offense something to cheer about.
I think you're right, Will. I think that the reason that they're having somebody go out there and hold the ball is because they're worried that the wind is going to kind of blow it over, and they don't want to delay a game.
Wind is a little strong here today as the kick is away, but couldn't really ask for much more beautiful weather, as it is sunny, and they're going to take the fair catch, as Cashin did sign for it, and that'll be a touchback, and so the Pointers will have the football at the 20-yard line.
Looks like he's kind of arguing with the referee out there over what he thinks was not actually a fair catch sign.
He can argue it all he wants. It's he made a fair catch, actually 25-yard line. Still got NFL on my mind. 25-yard line for the Pointers, and this is a really crucial drive for Stevens Point, because offensively you really haven't done anything, and this will be a chance to try to get some more points here, because you started the game with the ball, got nothing. Second drive got nothing. Now Schrader will take the snap handoff, or excuse me, fake the handoff, roll out to his right, and he'll be throwing one to the ground. The feet of Shannon Spears Jr., the 5'10 junior out of St. Cloud, Minnesota, as Schrader actually ended up on the carpet. Instant pressure right into his face. An offensive line, it's got to change something here. They got to give the quarterback some time, because he has been scrambling for his life so far in this game.
Yeah, the O-line not really being that wall that they really need to be for the quarterback.
In the backfield is Cashin lined up in the Wildcat. Cashin will take the snap, and he'll run right up the middle, and that is not going to work out. Maybe a gain of 2 on the play, making it 3rd down and long, so danger territory here for Stevens Point of going 3 and out on a 3rd consecutive, or excuse me, would be a 4th consecutive drive. But man, this has been a really slow start to the game. Stevens Point has to make some adjustments here, or, you know, I guess we have to credit this Platteville team too, because they have come out of the game and they are looking really solid here. 3rd down and long. Platteville's going to play a little bit of zone coverage back deep. They're going to play contain also. Rushing 4 up the middle. Schrader takes a snap, looking, and he's going to be taken down as a beautiful pressure, and great job there by number 2 for the Pioneers, Justin Blezick. What a play there as he just shot up the middle, or excuse me, he went around the edge and just took down Schrader, and that'll force another 3-and-out by this Stevens Point offense. And what a struggle this has been, but credit this Pioneers team, what a job they have done to start this game. They have been executing at all levels here, just clicking. Punt coming from Unger, and instant pressure again right into his face. He'll just sky this one, and it'll get down and go out at around the 30-yard line. So a solid punt there by Unger sets up the Pioneers at their own 30-yard line. 2:03 to go here in this first quarter. Stevens Point down 14-0. Pioneers with the ball.
4 consecutive 3-and-outs.
It's not much you can say. Stevens Point's offense has looked really rough to start this game. Haven't established anything in the passing game, nothing in the rushing game. That one secret weapon they had with Bryson Cashin running it in the Wildcat resulted in nothing. And now the Pioneers have the football. Catcher will hand it off to Lawrence. Lawrence will run up and pick his way for a gain of about 4. Nice little pickup on 1st down, and that'll make it 2nd down and 7. They're going to say it was actually a nice long 3, 2nd down and 7 for the Pioneers. Lawrence hasn't had any of those flashy long runs, but has definitely made his presence known. They can rely on the run game a little bit. But catcher can also air it out as well, as you saw on that opening drive. Fullback lines up now, almost got Stevens Point to jump. They're going to say he touched, and that's going to give them a free 5 yards, or are they going to say is a false start? Pioneers aren't backing up. I think they're going to get Stevens Point with touching a man in the neutral zone. That'd be a free 5 yards as the umpire and head linesman are coming together. A little bit of a conversation. They may pick this flag up. Nope, they're going to say neutral zone infraction on the defense.
Defense number 92 in the neutral zone.
And a little pumped up for the Pioneers was number 78, Casey Riddle. But now that's a significant penalty, because that now makes it 2nd down and 2 as opposed to 2nd down and 7. 1:18 to go here in the opening quarter. Catcher now takes the snap. He'll hand it up to Lawrence up the middle, and Lawrence will pick up the 1st down and much more. And Lawrence is still on his feet and on his way at the 40-yard line, 35, and out of bounds, close to the 30. They're going to say he's out of bounds at the 34-yard line of Stevens Point on his first breakout run. So it was just as I was talking about how he hasn't had a flashy run, he busts one free, and now has the Pioneers rolling once again, as it is under 50 to go here in this first quarter. Lined up in the backfield for the Pioneers now is Tag Habendank, the sophomore running back. Catcher now methodically getting ready for the snap. Catcher takes the snap, will hand it off the middle to Habendank, and he'll run up. Oh, he loses the football, but catcher is able to grab it right back and run it up for a gain of about 2.
Recovered by the Pioneers.
That's kind of how the game has gone so far for Stevens Point, as that ball was popped right out of Habendank's hands, and it fortuitously goes back into the hands of catcher. Now lined up in the backfield for the Pioneers, number 3, the wide receiver Garrett Stair, and that'll be the end of the first quarter. Excuse me, that's number 13, Reese Shelton.
It's the end of the first quarter.
Or Brian Smith, rather. 4 13s on the roster. But man, what a opening quarter for the Pioneers, and a opening quarter to forget if you're Stevens Point. And I think that last play encapsulates how this game has gone so far. A fumble forced as they just pop that ball out, but it goes right back to the quarterback, and he actually picks up yardage on the play.
it was not a very good quarter for Stevens Point, not getting really much of anything able to go. I don't even think they've been over the 50 at this game.
Stevens Point hasn't picked up a first down this game, while Platteville has had this is their 5th drive of the game, 2 of them resulting in touchdowns. One of them obviously a short field from a blocked punt, but offensively this is just, it's been hard to watch for your Pointers fan. What can you correct here? Because is it just something the offense isn't executing, or is it just this Platteville defense is playing so solid?
I think, honestly, it's the O-line. The O-line is not being the wall that they need to be for their quarterback. They have not really been able to contain much of the pressure that's been thrown at them.
It's a great point, partner, as catcher in motion will fake the bubble screen. He'll now get it over to his wide receiver, Garrett Stair. Now Garrett will find his way up the sideline, and he'll fight his way for a gain of 12. That'll be a first down. So set up beautifully as catcher faked the bubble screen to number 13, Brian Smith, and instead went over to Stair, and they pick up 12 yards on the play and are now marching the football right down the field once again. Stevens Point playing one-on-one up top with Jimmy Dersher, the number 1 target for catcher. Catcher now hands it up the middle. That'll be a solid pickup of 4 for number 13, Brian Smith.
Smith on the run for the Pioneers.
Making it 2nd down and 6. Gain of 4 on the play. Lined up wide for the Pioneers, number 81, Lucas Peterson, 6'4" junior out of Freeport, Illinois. Peterson lined up one-on-one. In motion is Dersher. Faking the hand, well, actually will hand it off up the middle, and for the first time, Stevens Point bottles him up, but still fighting his way forward is Smith. He'll pick up 2 more on that play, set it 4 on the play, they're gonna say, making it 3rd down and 2. So the 4-down territory, as we saw, they actually have gone for it on 4th down and 4.
You think they'll do that again if they're going to stop?
I will assume if they gain no more yardage here. At this juncture in the game, Stevens Point's offense hasn't really been able to do anything, so it wouldn't be that much of a risk if they went for it. Catcher with the hard count now will fake it, will hand it off up the middle. Fighting his way is Nicholas Lewis, the 5'8", or excuse me, that is Tag Habendank. He'll go up the 6-foot, 197-pound running back, just fought his way forward for a first down as they're in the red zone. So another methodical drive here for the Pioneers as they are marching right down the field, and Stevens Point has to come up with something here, because this has been this is a chance to turn into a lopsided game if they can't get something going offensively. Catcher with a hard count, trips to his right, a single receiver to his left. In Stair, catcher high snap, handles it, hands it up the middle, fighting for that goal line, but getting to the 5-yard line was the running back Lawrence. They're going to say that was Smith rather.
Pioneers are really relying on their run game right now. The Pointers just really cannot contain that.
Lawrence now checks back into the game now. 2nd down and 4. 2nd down and goal rather. There's no more gain can't gain a first down. Look for a quarterback, probably a quarterback RPO option. Quarterback draw maybe. Fake the handoff now, motioning Lawrence out wide. Lawrence has got nobody. They will hand it, or the quarterback will keep it, and this time Stevens Point bottles it up, actually for a 2-yard loss. That'll make it 3rd and goal from the 7-yard line. Fullback checking into the game is number 42, John Gumi, the fullback tight end hybrid. You see a lot of teams utilize here.
Pointer faithful getting loud, hoping for a big stop here on 3rd and goal.
Would assume this is 4-down territory. Catcher with a little bit of a hard count now will take the snap. He'll hand it, fake the handoff to Lawrence and throw it wide open to the tight end. That is an easy touchdown for Gumi, who just checked into the game as nobody was covering him, as it was a quick fake the handoff RPO action, and just floating it right over the middle was catcher, and they cash in another touchdown, making it 20-0 Platteville. That was just a beautifully executed offensive drive there, as catcher floated it to a wide open man, and Gumi did the rest and made it a 3-score game here. Extra point is up and plenty good for number 80, Andrew Schweitert. 21-0 here. And this has been, after a game of, I'll be real with you, partner, after a game where you lose 56-3, you would almost come out with a sense of urgency here and try to set the tone here. And to credit Platteville, they have given Stevens Point absolutely nothing. And this offense has really done nothing to this point in the game. And they're going to have to turn something around here really quick, because the defense is showing really right now, other than that time when they stopped them on 4th down, they have not been able to stop this team here, this Platteville team, as they've gone right down the field essentially every time they've had it, scoring on 3 of their 5 drives. It's really been a clinic here by Platteville.
I agree. Well, Platteville also had a very crushing defeat, 7-46 at Oshkosh. So I think like the Pointers really had something that they needed to prove, and they are doing a very good job of that so far.
Yeah, Pioneers have definitely come out, set the tone. And with 11-12 to go in the second quarter, they have themselves a 3-score lead. It's 21-0 here at Gerke Field on homecoming. Schweitner with the kickoff, again needing a holder. As the kick is away, a short kick, and that'll be gathered at about the 10-yard line by Cashin, and Cashin will break it to the outside, and he has a chance for a big gain as he's at the 25-yard line, at the 30, breaking it down the sideline, and he'll step out of bounds at the 36 or 7-yard line. So a nice return by Bryson Cashin sets up Stevens Point at their own 37-yard line. So nice starting field position for Stevens Point. Can they capitalize is the key.
Well, here's hoping. I think that this is actually the best field position that Stevens Point's had all day.
This is the farthest they've been up the field at any point in this game. And this is a really important juncture here, as they need to score. They need something. They need to get. It's that old saying in football. Need to see basketball. Got to see the ball go through the net, even through a field goal. Flipping it out to Smith. Smith will catch it on a little bit of a bubble screen, and he'll go up the field and be taken out at about the 45-yard line after a pickup of 8 on the play. So the first nice chunk yardage for Stevens Point. Pickup on 8 on a swing pass, and Smith picks up 8, making it 2nd down and 2.
Well, here's hoping that they are actually going to be able to convert the first down. Closest they've been so far, if they really need one here to keep themselves in it.
Number 28 in the backfield for Stevens Point, Seth Forbes. Forbes fake it, and then will fake the handoff. Now we'll flip it into the flat to the tight end, and tackled beautifully on the edge there by number 19 for the Pioneers. That was Jerome Crawford, or excuse me, Sean McMillan. What a play there, as Devin Baldridge slipped out into the flat, the tight end. And it looked like he had an easy first down, but some great closing there, and the Pioneers stuff them. And 3rd down and 1 at about the 47-yard line. And Schrader will take the snap, and he'll do a quarterback sneak up the middle, and they're going to pick up a first down of the game for Stevens Point. That'll move the sticks as they get to about midfield.
The Pointer faithful here really letting them know their appreciation of finally converting to get a first down.
First down of the game for Stevens Point, and it's a breath of fresh air to see the offense finally starting to get something. It's can they close the deal and get this into the end zone. Smith lined up in the backfield following his fullback, number 42, Joe Behrens. They'll hand it off to Smith up the middle, and he'll get met after a gain of about 2 or 3. Pick it up and make it 2nd down and 7 after a lineman lost a shoe. And they're going to have him hop off of the field. Equipment error. That's number 58 for the Pointers, Alan Jones III. Fullback will check out of the game as well, Matt Gertgen, tight end fullback hybrid. Schrader now get the offense lined up at midfield, or they're going to say the 49-yard line of Platteville. Schrader takes a snap, now drops back to pass, looking, pressure in his face, and he'll go down. So after moving the football
sacked by the Pioneers
decently, now the Pioneers will sack Stevens Point. First time of the game, Stevens Point had the football in Pioneer territory. They'll get sacked and go right back to their own, making it 3rd down and long.
Well, just when it seems like they're finally getting some momentum going, Pioneers come up with a stop and shut it all down.
It's interesting because if you can get about, this Pioneers offense, you would think probably not go for it, but if you can get a solid gain out of it, that could maybe put some thought into whether you go for it on 4th down. Schrader back to pass, looking, pressure in his face, now throws it deep and overshoots his wide receiver looking for Baldridge. He was guarded beautifully by number 35, Aiden Tyke, the senior defensive back out of Manhattan, Illinois, and that'll be a failed 3rd down conversion, and Stevens Point will be forced to send Carter Unger out and punt the football away once again. So, solid defensive recovery there by the Pioneers, as Stevens Point will be forced to punt and give the ball right back to this red-hot offense of Platteville. Unger gets the snap, he'll punt it up, and not a great punt as it will check up at the 30-yard line. And they're going to actually mark it at the 35-yard line of Platteville, and that's where the Pioneers offense will take over. And Catcher has a great game for Catcher in this offense. He's really just been like a game manager at this point. He's been just taking what the defense gives him. Evident on that last drive as he just flipped it to the tight end for the easy touchdown, Gumi. And now they have a chance to really put maybe a kill shot in here in this first half. Obviously, there's a lot of game left, but a real chance to take a lead. If they're able to go on a methodical 7-minute drive and take a 28-0 lead, they get the ball to start the second half and really can put this one away. Catcher will take the handoff and now hand it off to Lawrence, going to the outside, and maybe looked at potentially a hold there on the edge. But a nice seal there by the Pioneers offensive line. Pick up a solid gain on 1st down, making it 2nd down and 4, a gain of 6 on 1st down. Catcher with Lawrence lined up to his right, trips to his right as well. Catcher now fakes the handoff. He'll now look to throw, go deep, has a man open, and he'll find his way to about the 40-yard line, making it to the 37-yard line. That was number 16, Ben Wilson, the wide receiver for the Pioneers, as they convert on a nice gain, a beautifully thrown football, as they also had another option. As number 81, Lucas Peterson, was standing out there on a bubble screen. They could have set up a screen, but it was an option decided by Catcher, and he throws it deep, gives it to Wilson. They pick up the 1st down. They're on the move once again, quickly getting up to the line of scrimmage. In motion is Dorsher. They're going to hand it off to him on the jet sweep, and he'll cut up the middle and gain close to 7 or 8 on the play. And that'll pick up a solid gain there on 1st down, making it 2nd down and 3. 21-0. Stevens Point is trailing here as Platteville is driving it right down the field once again, partner. Just anything this offense wants, they have been getting.
The defense has really just not been able to make a stop. They did have a few moments of glory in preventing the 4th down at the other end of the field in the first quarter, but so far it is just not their day.
Lawrence with the handoff up the middle picks up the 1st down and a gain of 7 on the play, making it a 1st down and 10 as the Pioneers once again are moving the football. And I think, part of this has to be that Stevens Point has no answers with how well this offense has been playing for UW-Platteville. They've just been executing on all cylinders. Run game is going well. Passing game is going well. Their only falter they've had is that failed fourth down conversion. Other than that, they've played a flawless football game.
I agree, and I won't be surprised if they manage to pick up another touchdown here. I won't be surprised if they take their starters out to start the second half.
On the run for the Pioneers.
You wouldn't be shocked giving yourself a 4-score lead. I'm sure that's happened before, but also that'd be pretty early to rest them. But you could see it as a matchup, big-time matchup next week, as they're going to host River Falls. It'll be at 1 p.m. Stevens Point, obviously a stout, as the quarterback handed up to Lawrence. He'll pick up 3 on that last play, and now catcher will get the line set against. Lawrence now out wide. They're going to get called for a false start on the play, not set. Was the wide receiver at the top, Garrett Stair. They're going to say he jumped early. So back him up 5.
Encroachment.
Oh, yep. No, they're gonna say
penalty. Third down.
They're gonna say encroachment on the play. I think that probably could have been a false start if all things are considered. They're gonna say that was number 15, Josiah Featherstone. And back him up a bit, making it 2nd down and 12 as catcher will do a hard count. No jump by Stevens Point. Now look to the sideline, go back, and gets ready for the snap here on 2nd down and 12. 4:45 to go here in motion. Lawrence once again, catcher looking, drops back to pass over the middle, wide open receiver. Lost in coverage was the defense, was number 18, Jimmy Droscher. Droscher once again just slashing up this Stevens Point defense. Droscher has just been all over the place. Jet sweeps right over the. I mean, that was just an easy little slant route, and he gained a solid 13 yards on the play.
The Pointers defense really not picking up on anything much here. It seems like the offense can basically call whatever they want, and they will gain some yards.
Throwing it out to the flat is catcher to number 81, Lucas Peterson. Peterson picks up 4 on the play, making it 2nd down and goal from the 6-yard line. This is the area where they did the little RPO action, decided to pass on that one. It's really like a triple option almost. Quarterback can run it, he can hand it off, or he can throw it over the middle. Has a one-on-one at the top with the tight end. That's number 86, Austin Guy. And they're going to lob it to the end zone and intercepted. Did he stay in bounds? Yes, he did. As conversation going to be had, that's Larry Bowe with the interception for Stevens Point as a one-on-one up top. Larry Bowe wins this one, and with a big-time interception here for Stevens Point's defense. Man, what a play.
I agree. It was really something that the defense needed to keep the offense here in this game. Not a whole lot of time left here in the second quarter, but it could be something. If the offense manages to go down the field and score at least some points, it could be something that they need to keep them in this game.
It's without question, partner, that can be a momentum shift in favor of Stevens Point, as that was really the only second mistake ball that catcher had in the game. It was a one-on-one play, and honestly, I wouldn't be upset at the call. Is in motion as Aguilera. They'll hand it up the middle to Smith, and he'll go absolutely nowhere. But that play was really just a one-on-one, my player against your player, made the best player win, and Stevens Point's Larry Bowe won that play, and resulted in an interception for Stevens Point. But now this will be a kind of a clock management drive here, because if Stevens Point can't get anything, they can't pick up any yardage. You're going to see Platteville take a timeout, conserve some of that clock, and get the ball back?
I think that they will. If Stevens Point doesn't manage to get anything going on this drive, I think that Platteville will try to conserve as much time as they can, get some points before the end of the half. Like you said, they start with the ball to start the second half.
What a play there by number 98, Tyler Bacon. Just sticks the paw up there as Schrader was looking to do throw it to Smith in the flat. And that, unfortunately for Stevens Point, what an athletic play there by Bacon. That conserves a timeout. You know, now they have 3 timeouts on an incompletion. Do you see Stevens Point run the football here on 3rd down and 10 and force them to take a timeout, leaving them only with 2? Or is Platteville content with being able to take the football down the field in under 2 minutes? As to this point, I would say they have certainly shown it. Now, Schrader will take it up the middle on a quarterback draw and nix the timeout for Platteville, as Stevens Point will move the chains as Trey Schrader takes it on a quarterback draw up the middle for a gain of 13 on the play. That'll move the sticks for Stevens Point. And they're not playing really with a 2-minute drill. Not really playing with any sense of urgency here.
I think they're going to let the 2-minute warning get to here.
It's in college, partner. There's no 2-minute warning.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry, I've been watching too much
He's
NFL.
got NFL on the mind, and I can't blame you. I'm there too. I said 20-yard line and touchback, but we've all been there. Schrader drops back to pass. He'll throw it into the flat to the tight end on the play, Delvin Baldridge, and he'll dive forward for a gain of 6, getting it to the 40-yard line. They're going to say just short of the 40-yard line, as it's under 2 minutes to go here. You're going to give it to, they're going to say actually at the 39-yard line, their own 39-yard line, making it 2nd down and 5. Some nice, there have been moments where this offense has shown some good signs there. Schrader with showing his legs. Schrader now drops back to pass, now fakes it, now running to his left, running for his life. He can run up the field and pick up the 1st down once again. Schrader with the scramble and another offensive 1st down there. The quarterback, it's been all Trey Schrader's legs on this drive here as Stevens Point moves the sticks.
Well, I'm really hoping that this trend keeps up and that Stevens Point continues to get some 1st downs. They really sorely need them in order to stay into this game.
Stoppage in play here. I don't think it was a timeout taken. I don't think the clock was reset.
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 1:33. The clock will start on the snap.
1:33 is that's what I was wondering, because it didn't look like there was any timeout taken by either side. Now Stevens Point at minute and 33 here to go. 93 seconds here left in this 1st half. Schrader drops back to pass, now rolls to his left. He'll throw across his body, and that'll fall incomplete and dangerous, as there was 3 Pioneers in the area looking for Aguilera on the play.
Pass thrown to Aguilera, incomplete.
That'll make it 2nd down and 10. Clock stops at 1:29 seconds, so we don't need to call a timeout. As maybe that was a good play design, because Schrader dropped back so deep that would have been a gain of 1 or 2 on the play, and the clock would be running. So
Stevens Point still has 3 timeouts to work with, though.
3 timeouts from about the 47-yard line. Now Smith in motion at the top. Here comes pressure from the edge. Now get it over to number 33, Williams, on the play, and he'll get stuffed and driven backwards after a gain of maybe 6 inches on the play. That's going to be an easy play there by the defenders. They brought the heavy pressure blitz from the safety position by Platteville, makes it 3rd down and long. Stevens Point wants to play quick here. Schrader will take the snap, now roll out to his left. Now stop, looking, and still on his feet. And here's a chance to get another big run here as Schrader runs, and oh, he will be taken down out of bounds. What a big time hit as Schrader is still down.
There's a flag on the play for that.
Looks like, oh man, what a hit on the edge. I didn't see a number on who hit that, but Schrader is still down. Man, that was a scary hit.
I agree, and apparently the referees agree, because there is a flag down on the field for that hit.
And it's interesting because they could take not that they can't take a look at this, but that really looked like a shot to the upper body, and, you know, constituting targeting, because targeting isn't necessarily an act to solely the head. If you lower the crown and helmet to that upper body, so the chest, the neck, the shoulders area, and Schrader is in a lot of pain down on the sideline, and we can only hope that he's going to be okay, but a vicious hit by the Pioneers has resulted. Really, it was a really
After
kind of
play, personal foul, late hit out of bounds. Defense number 15, 15 yards, automatic 1st down.
They're going to say there was a late hit out of bounds. They're not going to say targeting. Man.
The Pointer faithful not agreeing with that call. They think that it should have been targeting.
That was Dane Friday, the senior linebacker out of Kyle, Wisconsin. As Schrader is still on his rear end, but man, he is still down. So the backup quarterback is going to have to come to the game as Schrader makes it to his feet. And he'll head over to the tent and he'll be checked, I would imagine, for the concussion protocol. And now into the game for Stevens Point is number 18, Charlie Smith. Charlie Smith saw some play time last week. Smith now roll out to his right. He'll throw it, and that's batted up in the air, and that'll fall down incomplete. So Smith, the 6'3" freshman out of Heartland, Wisconsin, showed some signs of offensive promise last week in that blowout loss. Now 56-3, not good look, but Stevens Point had drives where maybe if it goes a different way that the game changes, maybe the outcome's a little different, who knows. But this will be a chance here as Pointers fans are focusing on their quarterback. Schrader's still in the tent for Stevens Point as he suffered a vicious hit. Dropping back to pass is Smith. Smith looking, got nowhere to go. Instead, he'll run it up the middle for a gain of maybe 2 and go down as we approach the 39 seconds left. Stevens Point not taking a timeout. Now they will. Man, the clock management has been pretty suspect to this point because there have been seconds that have ticked off this clock that really Stevens Point could have used, and they now lose it. That was their first timeout that they'd taken. I don't understand.
They wasted a good maybe minute and a half of just this drive alone. They could have been using their timeouts for it, but instead they neglected to until we get under 1 minute.
Poor clock management, to say the least. And this drive has been a lot because really the only offensive thing that's been there today for Stevens Point has been the legs of quarterback Trey Schrader. Now Smith with a nice little scramble there for a pickup of 1, but really he had to run back to the line of scrimmage, so it was a nice like 5-yard run. But talk about an impact that can have on the game, obviously knocking out your starting quarterback, but really the only impact player for Stevens Point has been Schrader, and he's in the tent.
I think that if Schrader is out for this game, Stevens Point will not have that much of a chance of kind of staying in this. I think that they still can. I just don't think they'll be very. It's
going to be tough. It's going to be tough. 35 seconds left in the first half. Smith will take the snap and drop back to pass and float it over the middle, and that's going to be almost intercepted and dropped. Defensive back had it. Looked like he was almost throwing it to him. Number 21 for the Pioneers. That was Nicholas Albarico. And that is going to force a field goal attempt. Interesting call here. A deep field goal on a windy day. And very interesting call is Pontario is going to come on for Stevens Point. Pontario has a strong leg, but it is a not too cold of a windy day. It's a windy day, a little chilly, a little windy. And they're going to ice the kicker a bit with a timeout by Platteville. Interesting call there. Obviously, you want to ice the kicker, and I mean, while you have them, might as well use them. And if you're Stevens Point, this field goal attempt is there's a lot riding on it. If you're able to get this one through the uprights, not only does that give you some points, but if you get the chance to kick it off, because if you miss it, then Pioneers have 2 timeouts and 29 seconds left to work, and they've shown that they can go right down the field just like that.
If they don't get a touchdown, they can at very least get close enough to attempt a field goal.
Right, and clock management, again, a chance. Maybe Stevens Point, was it deliberate? Take as much time off the clock as you can so that Pioneers don't have much time left, as Pontario will come back out onto the field and look to try to get the Pointers on the board here with a deep field goal. Snap down, kick is up, and it is good. Stevens Point on the board here as Pontario puts it through the uprights for the field goal. So Stevens Point gets off the schneid, makes it an 18-point game it is 21-3. So now that may seem like a lopsided score here, and it is, but it's the cliche I bring it to is if you're struggling in basketball, just seeing the ball go through the net on a free throw is sometimes all that a player needs to have happen for them to gain something. And getting that ball, getting some points on the board for Stevens Point could be really beneficial to them. Now they're going to go most likely into the break down by 18 unless they get a nice return here by Platteville. But really the first kickoff return of the day for Platteville, the first time Stevens Point has kicked off. Of course, Platteville will receive the kick to start the second, or receive the ball to start in the second half, as Zach Trotz for Stevens Point, number 99, will do the kickoff duties.
Well, I think that Stevens Point really did need to score some points before the half ended. If they didn't, I don't think they would have any hope of continuing into this game. I would have hoped it to be a touchdown, but the fact that they got anything is good.
They got points, and you were absolutely right there, as Schrader actually got out of the tent and is still kind of walking around the sideline. I can't find him quite. No, I see him. He's standing on the sidelines. Trey Schrader is there. He's got a water ball and a football in his hand. He's able to walk along the sidelines, which is good to see for Stevens Point. Obviously, they kind of wanted to run him through some concussion protocol because wanted to make sure he's good to go. 17 seconds left. Catcher looking like they're just going to take a knee and go into the halftime up 18, and they will. So Stevens Point is going to be down by 18 here on homecoming. 21-3 is the score of the Pioneers, UW-Platteville Pioneers, on top of Stevens Point, as referees are saying, hold it, hold it.
The halftime score.
Hold it. What's going on here?
Platteville 21, UW Stevens Point 3.
As umpire referees,
looks like a congregation here. They're talking
not
about
sure
something.
What's going on.
Oh, they're letting the Platteville Pioneers go off first, so there's no extracurricular activities as they kind of cross each other into the.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this first half here. 21-3 is the score here. Pioneers on top of the Pointers here on homecoming. We're going to take the 20-minute halftime break here from Gerke Field, and we're going to let you guys listen into some music here on WWSP Stevens Point 90 FM, your home for your only alternative.
UWSP won the WIAC title in 1998.
And a welcome back here to 90 WWSP Stevens Point 90 FM's broadcast of Pointers football. Here at halftime is Stevens Point trails by 18. And sorry for getting a little technical difficulties here, but we are going to continue moving on either way. Pointers down by 18 points here at halftime, and looking to try to find something here offensively. And partner, it was a rough first half. It was a rough first half for Stevens Point. What can they do to correct it?
Well, some of the things I noticed is that they're not really defending the run game very well. So I think that they need to kind of start recognizing that they're going to try to run the ball as much as they can, because there haven't been a whole lot of passes, but when they do go passes, they go deep. There haven't been a whole lot of short passes.
Right, and the bright spot in that entire first half was quarterback Trey Schrader's legs. He was able to pick up a first down before he was knocked essentially out of the game in the first half. Now, we'll have the jury is out to see if he will be back here in the second half, but if it's not him, it's going to be the backup quarterback, number 18, Charlie Smith, for Stevens Point. And looking at what he's done so far, what did you make of his performance just kind of coming in a bit?
Well, when Charlie Smith took the game, we had a couple of good downs, and we finally did manage to score some points. Even if it just came in the form of a field goal, we still managed to get ourselves onto the board. Kind of piggybacking off of basically offense, the O-line is not doing a very good job of protecting the pocket. They're collapsing very quickly. They're not really keeping that pressure out. I think that they need to kind of be a brick wall in this half. Otherwise, we're going to see more of the same as what it was in the first.
Without question on that. I think your point of the offensive line really struggled. I think that is that's the key to it all. They got to get some protection here as the Pioneers are going to come. Their return team is going to come onto the field as they prepare to receive the football to start the second half. Well, Pointers down 18. Not impossible, but definitely got to get something going offensively. Up to start here the second half.
We're going to be underway here very, very shortly.
Stevens Point just trying to limber up there on the sideline as they get ready. Cheer squad hyping up the crowd. Good to see. It's still a good showing for Stevens Point fans. The whole stadium here on our side is full, and good showing by Platteville fans making the 2+ hour drive up from Platteville as the kick return was taken from in the end zone and now going to the outside, and a flag is going to fly as he will take it to about the 40-yard line, and that's typically in the area of illegal block in the back or holding. Flag was out at the 10-yard line. That'll be holding against Platteville, most likely.
So the return man's, very decent run, not a bad run, will probably be unfortunately negated
during the return
by that.
Holding, receiving team.
Tag Habenbank on the return. Holding is the call against the Pioneers, so back them up. And the holding happened deep in their own territory, so they're going to have the football at about the 7-yard line, and that's where Stevens Point's defense, if they can apply some pressure here, try to force a turnover, maybe give yourself a short field. Big time opportunity to start this second half. Let's see how Stevens Point can respond. Catcher takes the snap. We'll hand it up the middle to Lawrence, who pops it free and gains a nice 8-yard run on first down.
Lawrence on the run for the Pioneers. So
nice run to start. First down, gain of 9 on the play, 2nd down and 1. As there goes that back them up. It's still a little deep in their own territory, about the 15-yard line, 10-yard line, excuse me, no 15-yard line. Doubted myself, catcher going to try to do a little hard count action, nothing doing. Catcher now will take the snap and drop back. He'll now toss it out to the left to Lawrence, who will cut up the field and gain 2, just about enough. That'll move the sticks. First down and 10 Pioneers. 14-11 to go here in this second half, third quarter. Stevens Point looks like they're going to bring some pressure here on first down and 10. Again, catcher actually only has an interception in the first half. Handoff up the middle, and that bouncing it to the outside is Lawrence, and Lawrence fighting his way for a gain of about 4 or 5 on the play. That'll make it second down and 5. So statistically looking, Braden Catcher has 5 attempts for the Pioneers, 51 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. He averages 10.2 yards per attempt. That's rushing, excuse me. Passing-wise, he's had himself a pretty solid gain. He's 9 for 14, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Snap to him. He'll hand it off to Lawrence, slashing his way. A really tough tackle as he put his head down and ran over a point defender and moves the chains once again. But Catcher having a really solid first half as there's a pointer down. As I thought that looked like a pretty violent collision, and he is down. Can't get the number on that, but the athletic training staff runs out.
On the field
and
due to injury. The play clock will be set to 40 seconds.
Play clock will be set to 40 seconds. You know, that's something I think the referees are going to take a little bit of emphasis on what is the play clock after last weekend's game between the Packers and the Patriots, where it seems that sometimes the referees didn't know how a play clock worked.
Especially during that 1 touchdown, there were a good 3 seconds over the allotted time that they had.
Number 21 for Stevens Point, Cody Throwbridge, the 6-foot linebacker out of Milledore, Wisconsin, is the one who needs to be helped off the sideline. And that is not a good image here, as he is just can't put any weight on that right leg. Oof, scary.
So when you're a linebacker, the most common injuries that you get are knee injuries.
Only hope that he's all right. Now for Stevens Point, if we look a little bit more at the stats, Trey Schrader, 6 for 10, 32 yards. They're only 32 yards, 15 yards is his longest, and he has 1 sack that he had to eat. Catcher now with the snap. He will do a hard count, now look to the sideline and get the play moving is Lawrence. Now he'll move back to his original position. Trips to his left at the top, Catcher, nobody to his right. Catcher now takes the snap, he throws it out to the right to his man, that's number 18, and there's a flag down. That's usually in the area of holding, as number 18, Jimmy Droscher, was running up the field, and that's going to be a hold on the Pioneers, so back him up 10. So Stevens Point, for the second time on this drive, has backed up
number 3,
Pioneers. Number 3, Garrett Stair, the guilty party for Stevens Point.
Almost no penalties in the first half, and they're throwing them really, really early here in the second.
Pretty clean first half. There's just that 1 hard hit on the quarterback on the sideline. Other than that, really solid first half by both sides on the penalty-wise. Now it's going to be second down and first down and 19. It was a spot foul, so that'll make it first down and 19. Now Catcher in the backfield with Lawrence to his right. Takes a snap, now drops back to pass, looking to throw, and he'll run up the middle instead on a QB draw, get to the edge, and scamper out of bounds at about the 31-yard line. So a nice pickup after getting backed up to first down and 19, picks up a lot of that penalty yardage, and that'll make it, picks up all of that penalty yardage, that'll make it second down and 10. So nice play there by the quarterback to scramble for 9, and that'll make it, get yourself right back on track here to pick up that first down. Second down and 10. Catcher motions Lawrence out to his right. Now fakes the snap, now fakes the pass, did a little pump fake, instead throws it straight into the carpet. And that'll make it third down and 10 for UW-Platteville. Look to see if maybe Stevens Point brings some pressure here. Catcher's gonna have to get it out of his hands quick.
Let's make some noise.
The defense gets a stop. It'll probably be the first time that the Pioneers have punted all day.
It would be the first time that Stevens Point has forced a punt. Catcher fakes the snap. Now we'll take the snap, drops back to pass, looking. He'll set up a wide receiver screen, and that's going to be caught and stopped after a gain of about 1 on the play. That was his #1 target. That was Jimmy Droscher. Stevens Point gets that stop after giving up 1 first down, and they'll get the ball here after what will be the first punt of Platteville's day. Cashin and Williams will be deep.
The defense coming up big, making a stop, and like you said, the first punt is a really good stop for the defense. You know, I really hope that this means they're finally showing up to play, and we're going to see more of this.
Some early halftime adjustments made by Stevens Point. And here comes the punt as they get it away, and a relatively short punt that bounces at the 30-yard lines, and Williams will take it, and he faked the fair catch and will take it up to the 30 and will be taken down there. Man, I thought he called for a fair catch. Instead, no.
So did I.
But instead, that'll be a first down and 10 for Stevens Point at the 31-yard line.
Must have gotten inspiration from that one viral video of D1 football. I forget exactly who it was, but pulled almost the exact same move, and he managed to run it in for a touchdown.
So Stevens Point will have the football, first down and 10. Schrader under center will take the snap and will hand it off to Smith. Or excuse me, not Schrader. It will be Smith at quarterback, handed off to Cashin on the carry. He'll pick up nothing, making it second down and 10. So 10:26 to go here in the third quarter, as Stevens Point down 18, looking to try to get onto the scoreboard with some more points here and make this one a game again. Motion is Cashin. Smith will take the snap, a low snap, now picks it up and throws it over the middle, and he didn't find his receiver, Devin Baldridge, just over the fingertips. Would have been a big gainer. Now will be an incomplete pass, making it third down and 10.
I'm not seeing Trey Schroeder on the sideline. If he is, he's behind somebody. You think that means they kept him in the locker room?
I see he's over here a lot by standing by his offensive coordinator over there by the sticks. But he's not in the game, obviously, so they got to be monitoring him for concussion protocol. Third down and 10, another low snap. Smith looking, got to throw it, and instead it just falls, shoots it off the face of a Pioneer, and that's going to fall incomplete. So after forcing a punt, Stevens Point goes 3 and out.
A little bit of a disappointing end there. I was hoping that the offense could pick up after the defense and get the ball down the road.
Got to try to march the football down the field, but they have been unable to do so at this point in time in the game. Unger back to punt, now gets the snap and gets it up. This one is carrying a bit, and it's going to be caught and be tackled immediately, but this will be at the 40-yard line of Platteville. So Platteville will have excellent field position to start this drive and a chance to try to expand this lead. They have an 18-point lead right now, and they're going to try to add to it here.
They're just hoping that the defense can come up with another great stop like they had just before the 3-and-out by the offense.
So catcher back on the field for Platteville. One-on-one up top, Larry Bowe against Droscher. Catcher takes the snap, will hand it off the middle up to Lawrence. Lawrence will bounce it out to the outside and dive his way up after a gain of about 5 to the 45-yard line. That'll be second down and 5 for the Pioneers. Going to take a look at some other scores around college football, but we'll get to that right after this play here. Catcher will try to do a hard count. Now we'll look to the sideline. Catcher now will check the play, making an audible at the line of scrimmage. Now takes a snap, now back to pass, pump fake, looking. He's going to throw it deep, looking for Droscher, and oh, can he catch it? No. Nice play by the defensive back. That was number 9 for the Pointers, Gavino Lopez. Looked back at him a little bit.
If the Pioneers are able to haul that one in, I think that would have kind of break the back of the defense a little bit.
That would. That was maybe throwing that ball a little early, and they would have been able to get it, but nothing doing. Other scores that may interest our audience: Wisconsin currently leading Northwestern 14-0 with the ball in the midway point of the first half. Catcher now looking, he'll have to scramble for his life, and he got crunched before he delivered a nice pass, and they're gonna say he got the first down yardage, pick up a 5, and that's gonna move the chains. What a play there by Catcher. He was actually walking to the sidelines. He thought it was he didn't think he got it. So 1st and 10 from the midfield stripe, as Catcher and the offense will continue to move. Handoff up the middle to Lawrence. Lawrence will pop his way through for a gain of 5 and 6. Still on his feet. He'll pick up about 9 on the play.
Lawrence on the run for the Pioneers.
Not a whole lot of people are agreeing with that spot. I think that the Stripes gave them a generous spot, but that's just me. I might be a little bit biased.
We might be a little biased on that end, and they typically kind of know the game a little better than we typically do, but nonetheless, you got to do with what you're given, and Stevens Point's got to get a stop here.
Can't let something like that affect them.
Nope, gotta bounce off it. Catcher takes the snap, will hand it off up the middle to Lawrence. Lawrence will fight his way up, and he'll break it to the outside. That's Smith. Smith is running free. He's at the 15, the 10, the 5, and he's taken down at the 4-yard line. Brian Smith, the running back, took this one, and a late penalty thrown as conversation. The umpire
after the play,
so you're going to say unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense. That's going to go half the distance to the goal. I didn't see that one, partner, but that just tops it up. Number 6 on the Pointers, that's Tyson White. He's going to instantly check out of the game, and I'm sure he's not going to have a good time there on the sideline, as he is going to get an earful from his coaches.
Well, I'm not really sure what the unsportsmanlike conduct is on. I didn't really see anything, especially after the play.
Could have been some exchanged words with the opposing team. Who knows at this point?
Said the magic words, do you think?
I think so. Catchin will hand it off up the middle to Smith, and he'll be stopped a 1 yard short. Catcher, excuse me. Look for maybe a quarterback read option here, or maybe a bootleg. He's been shown to use his legs a lot here tonight. 7:08 to go here in this third quarter. Stevens Point down 18, threatening to go down. Handed off to Smith again, and he stood up at the line and still fighting, but the referees are going to call it dead, so it's going to be 3rd and goal from the 1 yard line. Definitely 4-down territory if you're the Pioneers. As substitutions coming in, as Pioneers are going to load up the backfield with a few tight ends and add a running back.
The home crowd getting loud here now as they're hoping for a stop by the Pointers defense. Very dangerous territory here. Let's hope they can do it.
Catcher will take the snap, a high snap, handed up the middle, and stuffed again, but still churning his legs, and he'll actually fall down after no gain. and that will make it 4th down and goal. So decision time for the Pioneers.
Looks like the offense is staying on the field. They are going to attempt it.
Make some noise. Help the Pointers out. Let's go.
4th down and goal from the 1-yard line. Can Stevens Point hold them out? Handoff, fake the handoff, flip it into the flat, wide open to the tight end, number 42. That is John Gumi, his second touchdown of the day. And that is a backbreaker for Stevens Point. You had them at 4th down and goal, expecting run all the way. They fake it and flip it into the flat. Wide open touchdown, Pioneers.
Well, it's good play calling from the Pioneer head coach. You know, like you said, they're probably expecting the run, so instead they faked it and just flipped it into the tight end for the easy touchdown.
So a chance to add the extra point to make this a 25-point game. Snap down, kick up, and plenty good, making this 28-3. Well, it's 28-3. Do the Pointers have a New England Patriots type comeback in them? They got it to that score. Can they come back down 25 points?
They do have 20 minutes remaining in this game. 20 and a half minutes, sorry. I think that if they can at least manage to get a touchdown, that'll start them on the right path, but they have to do it on this drive. If they don't do it on this drive, I think that it's probably just going to be it.
The safe assumption there, partner. Cashin and Williams will go back deep again, as we're at 3:47 here. Reminder, you're listening to Pointers football here on WWSP Stevens Point 90 FM, your only alternative. The broadcast stream also brought to you by SPTV on the UW Stevens Point's athletic YouTube page. Got to credit those guys up there today, Ryan and Logan, doing the hard work up in the cold there, getting you guys some good shots. So, got to credit them. Good job.
Kudos to the both of you.
As Pioneers are ready for the kickoff here after they take the ball, go down the field. Some favorable spots maybe lead to that touchdown. That one is angling and touchback. Ooh,
a touchback.
That looked like it was gonna go out of bounds as Bryson Cashin let it go. Instead, it goes to the back of the end zone, making it a touchback at the 25-yard line for Stevens Point. That's where Trey Schrader's coming into the game for the Pointers.
Yeah, that kicked ball, I think, just narrowly made it inside the pylon down there at the end of the end zone. So, you know, very by the skin of its teeth, I think. You know, it had to the return man had to really trust that it was not going to go out of bounds.
Cashin in the backfield, Schrader will hand it off up the middle to him, and he'll get stuffed at the line of scrimmage for no gain, make it 2nd down and 10. Man, this offensive line has just not gotten a push off the line of scrimmage that they would need.
I agree. I mean, if they're not doing a whole good job of, you know, keeping pressure off the quarterback, but they're also not getting the hole open that they need for their running backs.
So that's for sure, partner. Second down and 10. Schrader lined up. He will fake the handoff. Now look to pass. Looking. He'll throw one over the middle, and that'll be intercepted at the 35, at the 30, to the 25, to the 26-yard line as he was looking in triple coverage, and it's intercepted by Bo Kopp. By Samuel Tauza, the 6'1" defensive back, and just when it couldn't get much worse for Stevens Point, they go ahead and throw an interception.
Well, I think that's probably gonna be what broke our back today. It's a very untimely interception, especially when you need to put points on the board, when you need something, anything, to throw a touchdown like that it's just not good. There's really no other way to put it.
Yeah, that's without question.
I almost said party. Platteville's offense on the field again for what seems like their billionth time today.
Maybe it will be Partyville if they get a W here, a nice W. They'll hand it off to Dosher. He'll drop back to pass. He'll look deep into the end zone. Has a man tipped up in the air and almost caught. Man, that was a trick play that had a chance. If he's able to get that ball out quickly, that was the wide receiver for the Pioneers, number 81, Lucas Peterson. If he gets that ball out quick, that was a walk-in touchdown for the Pioneers.
It was wide open. Being well defended, but it did not look like he had the angle on it at all.
Didn't have the angle, but good close by the Pointers. Defense forces the incompletion. They'll hand it up the middle to Smith, and he'll get nothing. Gain of maybe a yard. Nope. They're going to say only no gain on the play. Make it third down and 10. As Lawrence had the run. Smith, that was actually Smith, not Lawrence. I was right the first time. Smith will be the backfield next to Catcher. Catcher in the shotgun, gets ready for the snap. Far out to be a false start on the Pioneers as Catcher using that hard count a little too much, number 59 for the Pioneers. That is Blake Burry. Couldn't stay disciplined and just marching back 5 yards here.
Offense number 59.
Could be a big play here for Stevens Point if you don't give up anything in the yardage territory. That's a long field goal you got to try there. Catcher now has his offense set up, has Smith to his left. Ben Wilson lined up to his left as well. Takes the snap, now rolls it out. Rolling, looking, setting, looks, and he'll be taken down. No, who gets away? Scrambling, flips it, and almost caught as he was looking for number 3, Garrett Stare. That one falls incomplete. A flag out in the area of holding. So you'll probably see Stevens Point accept this and back him up even more and take him out of field goal range. Umpires, all the referees are coming together to discuss. Has to be in the area of holding, I would imagine.
I would agree, because as the defensive rushers were coming in towards the pocket, their linemen were kind of getting in there and directing them away, and then that's when the flag came in. So I would assume that it is holding.
We'll hear what the call is here. Coming over to talk to Coach Vinay.
See if they accept it or not.
They're going to decline it.
Holding. Offense number 59. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
A little interesting. Coach Vinay electing to decline the penalty. If you force them back 10 more yards, it's almost a they're out of field goal range if they do that.
Yeah, but you have to take into consideration, the defense, despite playing very well right now, have not really been there this entire game, and so I don't think that the head coach really wants to take a chance on it. So he's rather they just attempt the field goal, hold them to 3, and then try to get some points in the next drive.
Snap is down, kick is up. Is it long? Is it long? It is plenty good.
45-yard field goal.
45-yard field goal would have been good from 55. And there's that question. If you back him up 10, does he make it? Now it's a 28-point game, and Stevens Point gotta put the pedal to the metal here if they want to put some points on the board here. Because it's at that point where sure anything can happen, but let's just get some points on the board and get some confidence going into next weekend's game against Stout.
No, I agree. What they really need is, field goals are good, any points are good, but they really, really need a touchdown here in order to kind of keep their minds in this game. If they don't get a touchdown here, I think that we continue on this track record of 3 and outs and then having Platteville go down the field and score points.
So only 3 points off of the turnover Trey Schrader throws the interception. His first of the game. And Platteville is out here to kick off the football back to Stevens Point. No holder this time. Wind slightly died down as the kicker knocks the ball off the tee. Interesting, I think he's going to need a holder here. So you can look at the kind of the jerseys of the players. The wind's kind of flying off of their undershirts a bit. And the ball will fall off the tee, so they are going to need a holder.
It's very interesting because I don't think Stevens Point has had to use a holder, but then again, they haven't really had many opportunities to kick it off anyways.
So Platteville now gets a holder, as we kind of predicted would happen. And they get ready to kick the ball away. And here we go. So after that, a nice booming kick that'll be picked up at the 4-yard line by Cashin. And Cashin's going to break a tackle, and he'll go backwards a bit before slicing up the field and get to about a 20-yard line. So a lot of running for only getting to the 20-yard line. And that's where Stevens Point's offense is going to get onto the field. And quarterback Trey Schrader coming back onto the field after his interception.
So, despite his big hit, do you think he's in the right frame of mind to be able to actually...
I don't know. I'm a little surprised he's out there, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. Anytime you have an injury that takes you out of a half, it takes you out of the game, even if it is at the end of the half. It's a little interesting that he's back in the game. Cashin's going to line up in the Wildcat. He'll spin out of a tackle and get back to line of scrimmage and gain about 2 on the play before he'll be tackled, making it 2nd down and 7. I think they're going to give him a gain of 3 on that. But yes, I am surprised that Schrader is in the game. Anytime you have an injury like that, where we saw he was down on the sideline for a good 2-3 minutes, and then play obviously started because he wasn't interfering with it on the field. But I am a little surprised that he is out there on the field.
I'm surprised too, and even if they cleared him to be able to be on the field, do you think that he's going to be in any frame of mind or, willpower to be able to do anything effectively?
Cashin lined up in the Wildcat again. They're going to hand it off to Forbes on the jet sweep, and that's going to go nowhere as he ran into his own player. Number 4 for the Pointers, that is Shannon Spears Jr. Actually, it was a gain of about
3rd and 1 for the Pointers.
6.
Let's make some noise, help him out.
As he ran a long way for about 6 yards. 3rd down and 1. Trey Schrader lined up again out wide. This has been 3 straight Wildcat formations for Bryson Cashin. You have to assume he'll be running it. He will run up the middle and gets a nice push forward and should have enough for a 1st down. And he will.
Cashin on the run for a
That'll be 1st down and 10, Stevens Point, as the Pointers move the sticks, as they will continue this drive here in the later stages of the 3rd quarter. Schrader has Forbes to his right, Williams and Sharp Spears to his left. He'll now throw it out wide, and oh my goodness, what a hit on the edge by number 21 for the Pioneers.
That one hurt 28 very badly. He's coming off the field about that.
Nicholas Alborico, goodness me, lay the wood a little bit, did Alborico. Man, what a hit. He just saw a bubble screen coming, and Schrader did not get that out of his hands quick, and Forbes, as you said, he's shaken up after the play as he just got demolished. Loss of 5 on the play. 2nd down and 15, blitz coming from the safety position. Schrader throws it and gets it to Spears, and that's a pickup of about 4 on the play. And I got to tell you what, partner, his throwing motion doesn't look the same here after his injury. It's coming out really sidearm. in a way, and I wonder if that's a result of the injury.
Well, I would think that it is, because if he's going sidearm more than his actual usual motion, you know, he could be favoring anything in his chest maybe that would hurt as he actually does his regular motion.
All the more question of why he's in the ball game if he physically can't throw the football correct. Baldridge in motion, the tight end. Schrader back to pass. He's looking, still looking, and he'll be taken down. Coming in and getting pressure. That was number 2. That was number 2, Justin Blazek, as number 19 was in there as well. Jerome Crawford, or Sean McMillan, excuse me, in there on the tackle as well. And that is going to be a
third quarter.
That's how the end of the third quarter is going to be.
Got that winning
it's a
number
score
for
of
the
31-3 in favor
$564 goes to
of the Pioneers.
2, 6, 2, 0, 1, 0.
So Pointers down by 28 here.
Number again,
31-3 is the score.
2010. $564.
And now
Please report
the
to press
offense,
box.
once we get back here to start the fourth quarter, will be punting the football away. Carter Unger back deep to catch the kick. Pioneers return man at around their own 35. Unger gets the low snap, gets the boot away, and not a good kick. Gets to about their own 49-yard line before it dies, and only gets to about the 43-yard line. So Platteville will have excellent field position coming back out of the field.
Talented team at Skyward.
Do you think that the wind has is having any effect over the punting?
I don't know. Because it's really coming off of his foot, flat-footed and spinning, just really spinning end over end really quick. And that usually indicates that you just didn't get a good kick off the foot. So that's what I would assume in favor of Stevens Point as we look at some of these third quarter stats here for Stevens Point. But let's get this first play out as catcher will do a little hard count. Instead, he'll back it off here, but in the third quarter it was a touchdown and a field goal, so 10 points in that third quarter for Platteville. Here comes the snap to catcher. He'll hand it off to Smith running to the left, and he'll be met in the backfield and driven down by a host of Pointers, Borchardt and company in there. But if we look at the scoring here in the third quarter, touchdown by Platteville from Gumi, his second touchdown of the day. A nice little bootleg to the flat, easy touchdown, and then a field goal by Schweikert, 45-yard field goal with the 59 seconds left in the quarter, made it 31-3. Statistically, passing Braden Catcher, 12, 21, and 184 yards and 3 touchdowns. So not putting up a lot of yardage, but getting 3 touchdowns is still a pretty solid game, as a rush by Smith gets to about the original line of scrimmage, maybe a foot past it, making it 3rd down and 9, make it 3rd down and 10.
You know, catcher's been doing a hard count, it seems, on every single play that he does, and it worked for the first couple at the beginning of the game, but do you think it's still working now?
It's really hard to say. I think Stevens Point has made some despite giving up 10 points here in the second half, they've made some solid adjustments here as catcher is going to take the snap. Look to see if he's going to use his legs here this time. Now takes the snap, fakes the handoff, drops back to pass, looking over the middle, throws it, got a wide open receiver, but overshoots his man. That is number 18 for the Pioneers. That was Jimmy Grosher. 4th down after the nice field position. They can't capitalize, and they're going to have to punt. So good job by the Pointers defense.
So that's second or third 3-and-out that Platteville has suffered now.
That'll be their 3rd 3-and-out of the game. Swigert on for the punt. Swigert handles the punting and the kicking duties. In red zone appearances, Platteville is 2 of 3. 1 and 2 on 4th down. High snap. Good job by Swigert. Handles it. Flag flies here as the punt goes straight up in the air and just caught by Williams. But let's check that flag here. False start. They're going to say I wonder if they're going to have to re-kick it. That's going to be up to, I think, the linesman, because if it was a false start, they should have called the play dead. But instead, I think Coach Vinay is going to let it play and decline it.
Illegal formation, kicking team.
Oh, they're going to say illegal formation.
Will be added on to the end of the kick. First down, point.
They're going to say illegal formation, add 5 yards to the end of the kick for the Pointers. And that gives them halfway decent field position at around the 32-yard line. So Trey Schrader's still in the game, and I can't help but scratch my head at that, partner.
I agree. I mean, do you think it's kind of reckless on the medical staff to allow him to be back in this game after such a heavy hit?
They cleared it, and he'll be running a quarterback draw, and he has an opening here if he can get to the edge, and he was thinking about throwing it, but instead that was played beautifully by number 1, Ryan Smith. A lot of Smiths on this team for Platteville. As Schrader looked to get the edge, but obviously the medical staff had to okay him coming back here in the second half. But that was really a scary hit where he was down on the sidelines. And you know, if I was the coach, I would make sure if he was 100% before going in, letting him come back into the game. And based on how he's thrown the ball here in the second half, I don't know if he is 100%. DJ Jacob, Aguilera, and Cashin lined up wide, Smith in motion, and then they're going to let Schrader run it up the middle again.
Schrader and the keeper.
That'll gain enough for a first down for Stevens Point, so they'll move the sticks, get it to about the 42-yard line, and that'll get keep the drive going. Looks like Stevens Point is going to play a methodical kind of game the rest of the way here. Schrader, while getting up to the line of scrimmage, makes a little adjustments now, gets back into the pistol formation. Schrader takes the snap, will hand it off up the middle to Smith, and that'll go absolutely nowhere for the Pointers. Reed Smith on the play for Stevens Point.
Gross down the run.
They're going to say it was someone else, but it wasn't. That was number 30, Reed Smith, on the play.
Gain of 1.
Gain of 1 on the play, 2nd down and 9. Here for the Pointers as we are getting closer to 11 minutes here in the 4th quarter. Schrader under center. He now motions his tight end, David Baldridge, excuse me. Handoff up the middle goes for only about 1 more yardage, making it 3rd down and 8.
On the run for the Pointers.
Man, the line of scrimmage has really been dominated by Platteville today, because Stevens Point had an extra fullback and a tight end lined up in the backfield, and still they were only able to manage about a 1-yard gain out of that. It's just to credit how well this defensive line has played for Platteville today.
Well, I agree, and like I said, the O-line has just not been up to snuff this entire game. I feel like they really, really need to step up.
Schrader takes the snap, drops back to pass, looking, throws it to Baldridge, and he makes a nice catch and will pick up the first down. Beautiful pitch and catch there by Schrader and Baldridge, and Stevens Point will move the football. So a nice little pickup there. .10:40 to go here in this 4th and final quarter of regulation. Smith in the backfield with Schrader. Williams and Hare lined up out wide. Fakes the handoff. Will now hand it off to Hare. And Schrader looking to do a block. Hare will go up the field, and Hare will fight his way to about the 30-yard line before he heads out of bounds. A pickup of about 9 on the play for Stevens Point. Some little trickery by the Pointers, and that'll move the football to the 31-yard line, and a chance to continue this drive. They're able to pick up 1 more yard.
About 10 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter.
Just under 10, 9:52. Schrader, Smith behind him. Takes the handoff, hands it up the middle to Smith, and Smith will fight his way forward and picks up the first down after a run of 3 yards. That'll move the sticks, and the ball will be placed at the the 28-yard line, and that'll make it 1st and 10 pointer. So a nice drive here by Stevens Point. We'll look to see if they can get this in the end zone. This has been their best offensive possession all day.
I agree. They have not done a very good job of marching the ball up the field. What do you think has changed?
I think they're really relying on this run game pretty much getting some decent holes, but of course that nice pass and running the Wildcat formation and absolutely nothing doing that is, once again, the offensive line was destroyed off the line of scrimmages. There were 3 Pioneers who went unblocked to Bryson Cashin for a loss of 3 on the play. I mean, that's something that has to be discussed after this game. Is the offensive line needs to step up. They have really just been handled all day.
No, I agree. And if they don't, it might be too late for them to step up in this game, obviously. But if they are going to make a statement, if they want to turn the season around, they're going to have to step up next week.
Cashin will fake he'll now hand it off, and Schrader gets the ball back, and he'll throw it and gets it to Cashin. Cashin with the catch, and he'll run down the sideline and step out of bounds at about the 15-yard line.
For a first down.
So Bryson Cashin once again is really the highlight of Stevens Point's football team. Ball at the 15-yard line.
Actually going to take Bryson Cashin off the field, I think.
Looks like, I think you're right there. Give him a breather. There'll be Forbes in the backfield for Stevens Point with the 2 fullback setup, 1 tight end, 1 fullback officially. Schrader fakes the handoff. He's rolling to his right. He'll now throw across his body and just airmail it out of bounds. And Schrader a little slow to get up. And it's and I don't want to keep coming back to it, but I don't know why he's in the game. I really don't.
No, I agree. I mean, what we've seen so far is that he is not performing the same as he was in the first half. I mean, that hit took him way longer than you should. You should be able to just pop right back up. But he's obviously dealing with some sort of injury that we can't see from up here. You think it's some sort of chest or rib injury?
It's got to be something, because his throwing motion is completely different this entire second half. In motion is the tight end, that's number 40, Matt Gertgen. Schrader drops back to pass, now throws it over the middle and looking for DJ Jacobs, but throws it too deep. I mean, that's just another example of, if you get a good grip on the football, that's maybe a chance there, but instead it falls incomplete, and that'll make it 3rd down and 10 here, as really Stevens Point was moving the football. They're back to their offense just being a little stagnant here.
Do you think that hit that Trey took kind of stopped their momentum a little bit?
I think it is. Despite the backup coming into the game and leading the team down the field for a field goal, he went 0 of 4, and Schrader cannot handle the snap. Now looks over the middle and completely misses the open Seth Forbes on the play. And once again, maybe that was because pressure was in his face, but once again, an incomplete pass by Trey Schrader. And I think that is going to send the...
You know, if I'm Coach Vinay, I would keep the offense out there. I mean, what have you got to lose? If you turn it over, you're on good position to stop them. You know, you're down by multiple points, by multiple scores, so I say go for it. Why not?
4th down and 10 here. Pointers' best offensive field position. Schrader looking. He's going to be taken down. Edge rush off the edge by number 48 for the Pioneers, Kevin Jerkover, by Cale Crimmins. What a beautiful play there, as he just demolished the lineman he went against and went around and sacked Schrader essentially untouched. And that's, again, another reason why I wonder why you have him in the game. If you're going to let him take those kind of hits, we already know he's kind of shaken up. I don't know.
It's not protecting him as well as they should.
Yeah, I don't know why he wanted to why he's in the game. I really don't, and I'm sorry I keep coming back to it, but I just, for the sake of his health, I don't know why he's in the game. Flip out wide to Stair, and he will go up the field for a nice chunk yardage play, pick up about 5 or 6 on the play. He'll make it 2nd down as we approach the 7-minute point, about the halfway, just under halfway. But yeah,
in my opinion, he should. If he was hurt enough to be taken out of the first half, he should not have played a single down of the second half.
I would agree with you there, partner. I'm just really confused to why they're going to send him out there, and this offensive line is just having him hit all day as catcher will throw it out wide for another bubble screen. That'll pick up another nice chunk yardage by Stair as he continues to have a solid game. But it's, yeah, you just got to hope that, you know, under 6 minutes here, if Stevens Point gets the football back, you got to think that maybe backup Charlie or Smith will come in.
Well, if they're getting blown out pretty good, so I would, rest your starters, play your backups,
get them healthy for next week, and a chance to kind of wipe the slate clean and start over again.
Obviously, we're hoping that they could do that.
Without question. And catcher flips it out wide. Another screen to Stair, and he'll pick up another chunk yardage on the play.
Completion to Stair.
And that'll make it. They're going to get close. And injured player on the field for Stevens Point, number 7, Larry Bowe. Bowe had the interception
on the field
in
due to injury.
The first half.
We set to 40 seconds.
Really favoring that leg. He'll quickly get up. And
favoring the right leg again.
Yeah, favor that right leg as he started to walk off. He's kind of able to put some weight on that, but just injuries are piling up here for Stevens Point.
Seems like there's one every other drive now.
As now the Pioneers will have a 1st down and 10 from their own 47-yard line.
A little over 6 minutes left to go here in the 4th quarter. Do you think that if Stevens Point manages to get anything, do you think it'll do anything?
I think this is one of those instances where if you can get something, you should do whatever you can to get it. Get points on the board, get something positive to take into the week to prepare for Stout and prepare for a really good football team. Catcher fakes the pass, and he'll go deep. And that was covered beautifully by the Pointers, number 44, Marshall Bolkowski. Pioneers sideline looking for a flag. No flag out. Incomplete, and 2nd down and 10 with 5:51 to go here. But I think, to your point, if Stevens Point can get something on the board here, I think it would be beneficial to them because, once again, they can take something positive going into next week's game against Stout here for the Spud Bowl.
I agree. Do you think that with the way Trey Schrader's, injured, do you think he'll start the Spud Bowl?
We'll see. We have a week to go here as they're going to hand it up the middle to Smith, and Smith will drive his legs and pick up another solid gain. Brian Smith, that one is. Once again, we have just 500 Smiths in this game. Seems like maybe it's a family reunion. Well, slow to get up there was number 50 for the Pioneers, Cameron Joseph, offensive lineman. And I think that's one of the questions you got to think about this upcoming week is the health of your quarterback and how you can prepare for that. Are you going to dual focus on practice, dual quarterbacks in case Schrader's not ready to go? It's
remains to be seen.
Remains to be seen. Let things play out. Catcher, a little pressure. He'll run up the middle and fight his way and pick up a 1st down.
Catcher on the run for the Pioneers.
Nice play there by the quarterback using his legs, and he'll move the sticks. And, a lot of people who may be listening to the game or watching the game here are probably thinking, why does Platteville have their starters in the game? And I think it's for the same reason why Stevens Point has their starters in the game. Get them live reps. Get them time to practice. And, it's one of those, unblocked by the point was number 41 for Stevens Point, Matthew Stephanie, but he was not able to come up with the play as, once again, catcher utilizes his legs picks up about 4 on the play. But it's one of those things where, yeah, you know, maybe sportsmen, if it's under a minute to go and you're taking shots to the end zone, that's one thing. But right now it's one of those things where you got 4 minutes to go. You want to get your starters some more live game time reps. And it's also at the standpoint of, you know, we're playing our guys, stop us, you know. Stop us from making the plays, and then, you know, we won't have to have our starters out there. Hand up the middle to Smith. He'll pick up some on the play, about 3 yards, and that'll make it 3rd down and 2 or 3.
3rd and 3.
3rd and 3 here with 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go here. It has been all Pioneers here today.
Stevens Point, little of nothing. The offense has gotten shut out so far. It's been up to the work of special teams.
They're going to bring some pressure here. Catcher's going to have to get it out quickly. He does. Gets it out to a wide receiver. Makes a man miss. Now comes up the field and gets to about the 25-yard line. There's his number 1 man, Jimmy Droscher. And he gets a 1st down for the Pioneers.
Still a largely packed stadium this late into the game. I'm kind of surprised by that with how the Pointers have been playing.
Well, you got to come out in support of your team. And I think that's one thing that this Stevens Point community is just amazing at. They come out and they support their team through thick and through thin, you know, through great games, through the highs, through the lows. They show up and they're just some of the best fans you're going to ever find. Is a nice tackle there made by number 52 for the Pointers. That was Carter Brochert. He tackled Smith on the run. Back to that point, you're not going to find much of a better fan base as Steve's. I mean, the game's 31-3, and you're right. Stadium is still, I mean, on our side about 75 to 80% still full. I mean, you're not going to find some of a more committed team fan base, yeah. And catcher will run up the field and gain a nice solid gain. Get it about halfway to picking up the 1st down. It will be 3rd down and 5 or 6 here. 3rd down and 6. And you'd have to think at this point, under 2 minutes to go in the game, they're not going to go for it on 4th down. They'll just send the kicking team out. As we saw earlier, their kicker absolutely drilled a 45-yard field goal.
Had more than enough.
And they're going to get, I think, a false start. No, a timeout called. Stevens Point looked like they were bringing some pressure. Head coach Ryan Muntz saw that, decided to call a timeout. And that'll give Stevens Point a breather.
And time to kind of discuss where they're going to go from here. Under 2 minutes, do you think Stevens Point will get the ball back?
You know, it's hard to say. If they do, they should just take some reps at running the football, just play the game as it is, and let the cards fall, or let the chips fall where they may. I think, you know, this is one of those games where if you're a Pointer, you're just thinking, man, we had a rough game against River Falls. We were going to come into this game with all the confidence in the world. There were some spots in this game where they looked pretty good.
Absolutely, like
Schrader used his legs late in that 2nd half, and he was doing a great job at that before a total cheap shot on the other side took him out for the 1st half, for the remainder of the 1st half.
He hasn't been the same since.
And the defense had some bright spots. Larry Bowe with a nice interception, and I think they have enough to build on here to really turn things around for next week, but that all starts after today's game. But first, catcher now will take the snap, and he'll run up the middle again on a quarterback draw, and he has a chance. He's in the clear, makes a man miss, and now gets to the 10-yard line. That'll set up 1st down and goal for the Pioneers with just under a minute and 30 seconds to go here. It'll be now a minute 30. And Pioneers are going to be heading towards their 2nd win of the season. They will go 1-1 in the WIAC. They pick up a big-time win. That'll be huge for their momentum and their game coming up against River Falls. They're going to need all the momentum they have going against the highest scoring team in the WIAC. Goodness, I have a hard time speaking today.
Pointers are going to fall to 0-2 in the WIAC and probably will remain at the bottom of the division.
Will remain at the bottom of the conference. As we approach under a minute to go, Smith with the run, and I'm assuming you're going to see some more runs here under a minute. You know, not the way that Pointers wanted the game to go. A few things, if it turns around their way, maybe the outcome's a little different, but you got to take the positives and you got to take the negatives to be inspiration to come out next week and be better after really struggling in 2 straight games.
Oh, I agree. This is a learning opportunity for the Pointers to kind of look back on what they could have done better, what they could improve on, and try to make those adjustments before next week's matchup.
Catcher takes the snap. He tried to run to the edge and got nothing, and I think that's going to take us to the close of this one as we are under 10 to go here in the 4th quarter, as it's good to see Larry Bowe with his helmet on and back out onto the field for Stevens Point. But that is going to do it. A dominating 31-3 victory here for the Pioneers here on Stevens Point's homecoming day. A rough outing for the Pointers as they are going to fall to 1-4 and 0-2 in WIAC conference. Platteville's going to improve to 2-3, 1-1 in the WIAC, and a chance to draw even on the season and go to 3-3 next week if they're able to upset River Falls at home.
It'll be a really tough matchup for them. River Falls is red hot right now, and they've always been, you know, consistently decent, at least at best. But I think it will be a very, very good matchup to watch at the very least.
Yep. Once again, the next week, the Spud Bowl, Stevens Point is taking on UW Stout at 1 p.m. next week. We're going to be right back here on 90 FM. We'll have the game coverage will start at 12:50. We'll be on the air, and opening kick will be at 1. Well, it was fun to have you up here, partner. And obviously, the game didn't go the way maybe we would want it to, but glad to have you up here, and hope to hear you more here on the 90 FM SPTV radio waves. Really fun to have you up here. I think, well, if I don't got any final words here on this broadcast?
Well, it was really, really cool to be up here for the first time. Like you said, I really, really hope that I'm going to be able to come back and do this a little bit more often, more consistently. It's very fun to do, actually. I had a lot of fun doing this. Hopefully next week the Pointers can defeat Stout to kind of try to save their spiraling season so far, and I'm looking forward to it.
I think you put it, couldn't put it much better myself. So we're going to actually call this one, we'll call this one quits here at the end. I want to thank you all for listening to Pointers football here on WWSP 90 FM, as well as watching the athletic department's broadcast brought to you by SPTV. I'm Will Harrelson. Alongside me is Liam Stats. I want to thank our production crew as well for putting on such a great performance. We're going to see you all next week, so have a good one, Pointers.